understand as we look at Law 12 that I want to be a little redundant, which usually annoys me, whether it's you or me. But I really want to hammer in a huge takeaway that we can leave after looking at Law 12 factually, realistically, moving forward, no longer being misled by our misinterpretations and our beliefs about the way a thing is. Law 12 tells us to use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. You can use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim and distract others from your schemes. It works because even the most suspicious people respond emotionally like a child to acts of kindness. Let me tell you this, man. Secret. There are so many narratives that I hear constantly being promoted about why people do the wicked, divisive, evil things that they do. And sometimes the reasoning is so far-fetched. Sometimes it's so facetious as, well, the child that I had with the person that was dysfunctional when I was laying down with them, the DNA that runs in their body superseded the gift of life and the eternal identification from the divine creator they stemmed from. And they are somehow marred, flawed, and a lost cause from conception. Get off that. There is no one born wicked. There is no one born lost. There is no one born dysfunctional or misled. We are all born with universal truth embedded in us by nature. We all have been programmed with the truth, but we all have entered into a realm of sleep, a realm of paralysis, a realm of unawareness, absent-mindedness, amnesia, one may say, to the truth that is natural to us. So we operate in unnatural ways that we have adopted as our own because we do not remember what it's like to be home. So we are left to play games like Robert Greene advises us in Law 12, like using selective honesty. What the hell is selective honesty? And in moments like this, I always take the pause to commend and extend my respects to Robert Greene as a thinker and a writer. But the confusion and delusion of the division that we have adopted as our own inside of the physical experience that we have partaken in, outside of the awareness of a divine creator extending us every gift and every pleasantry that we could imagine before the beginning of the experience, that we have adopted to be some type of war, some type of race, some type of competition, some type of comparison game. Selective honesty. That's lying. If I tell you some of the truth, I told you a lie. If I omit parts of the story to make it seem that something took place a way that it did not, that is to mislead you, to misguide you, to lie, to deceive you. And the only people that need your eyes covered in wool are the people who are trying to take you places that have no value, that are trying to get you to participate and partake in the selfish expeditions that they have deemed to be necessary for the fulfillment of their self. It doesn't benefit you, which is why they need you blind. You get to learning your true identity. You get to learning who you genuinely are. You get to understanding your proximity with your creator. You get to interpreting truthfully and realizing what it means for you to have been given dominion. And watch the people who have been able to use you, move you, get it in their head that they're about to lose you, and then come up with all kind of schemes, as Robert Greene would recommend for them, to try to get you under the impression that you are a dependent on them, you need them, you must stay, you are served by their dysfunction in some type of way, and to disconnect from it may very well be your detriment. Understand, the games that we hate to be played with us are the very recommendations that we have been taught to operate from. And that is why I say there is not any of us who were born divisive or born deceptive or born some type of flawed or lost. These ways were learned. These ways were adopted. These ideologies, these paradigms, these practices, they were learned by those who we thought knew the way, but we found were the very ones who operated on the path, thinking they knew the way headed to destruction. You better break up with your idols so that when you see them headed down paths of destruction, you don't feel compelled to follow them out of emotionalism or out of attachment or out of familiarity or out of guilt or necessity. Follow me as I follow the truth. The moment you see me, feel me, identify me as operating as one outside of truth, disconnect your attention and your influence from me and lean not to your own understanding, not to your own likings, not to your own familiarity, but to one who has not been infected by the divisiveness and darkness that we have walked with and have began the process of shedding, but some days return to. Lean to one who is not ever confused about which path to take or which path that might be on. Your brain is deceptive. Your eyes play tricks on you. People lie and mislead you. As Robert Greene has told us, we have been recommended collectively to engage in something called selective honesty, which is just a articulate way of saying lie. Don't tell them the truth. Disarm your victim. Disarm your victim by telling them lies. Is this not what you have seen when you were under the impression that you were hurt the most? When the people the closest to you told you that they cared for you in ways that no one ever had, and they would be around for extensions of time that no one else had invested, and then you looked up one day and they were speaking on you in a way that did not align with what they had said prior to, or you looked up one day and they were not present on a day that they promised they would be. And now you, who would have been operating as a cold-hearted, calloused, withdrawn, introvert, but extended yourself in relationship and kindness and engaged in ways with a person that you had often rejected or withheld in the past, has now been disarmed and been engaged and made feel to be safe inside of an experience that was all based on selective honesty, aka lies. That's not even cool. That's lame. Use generosity to disarm your victims. See, here is the play of words. Because if I extend anything from my hand as a gift to you, but my motive is anything other than love and the free extension of what it is that I have that I want you to have, it's not generosity. It's not a gift. I'm actually giving you not what's in my hand, but what's in my heart. When you do something kind for someone or something that appears to be kind for them, if your motive is to be celebrated and they don't appreciate you publicly and boisterously in an exaggerated manner so that people who weren't even paying attention to you or them become aware that you are a kind person, you get mean. You want to go take your stuff back. Because it was never extended out of kindness. It was extended out of a motive to be celebrated, to be approved, to be accepted by people who are waiting to be accepted and approved and celebrated themselves. So if we can't see at this point by Law 12 that all of the inconsistencies and all of the flaws in our presentation and in what we believe to be our character have been adopted as intellectual and intelligent sound advice from successful thinkers. Robert Greene's net worth in 2024 on Google is listed at around $10 million. And typically, someone of his nature's net worth on Google is far from accurate. And I don't mean far from accurate as in too high. I mean typically it's laughably low compared to what it is they actually have accrued in assets. So one who has sat down, studied human nature, and devised some laws of deceit and manipulation for you to govern yourself by in the absence of truth and the awareness of what is actually beneficial and advantageous to you and I, has amassed a fortune. So clearly we can see that people are looking for an answer and they don't know what the answer is, because we think that there's value in using selective honesty. And don't even sit on this talk with me and act like you don't think there's value in selective honesty. If I asked you to go explain the process of human life conception to your child, you probably would be compelled to go use selective honesty, which is why your child and other people who are connected to you that depend on you for information in their life that is beneficial to their day-to-day and progression often still operate with an ignorance for what it is that they should be doing or could be doing constructively and beneficially for themselves. Because instead of you promoting truthful, universal principles for them to apply that never fail, you often, like Robert Greene, extend theories such as use selective honesty. Use generosity to disarm those who you want to think are stronger than you, so that one day you can utilize their misconception of who you are as a strength over them in the competition to divide and conquer. What's your aim? Do you wake up to join and connect? Or do you wake up to divide and conquer? Do you wake up to win? Because if you wake up to win, that means you wake up to defeat somebody. And if you wake up to defeat somebody, that means you wake up and either war or compete. And war is a competition. And competitions typically mirror wars. And you wonder why you have such a lack of peace, why there's such little calm in your life, why you don't feel the ease and the flow of the naturally abundant creation you were designed to be. Because you've settled for a delusion. You've settled for an imaginary war that you sparked, that you keep raging, that you keep extended, that only you can end. And you say you want it to end. You say you want nothing else more than for it to end, but you are the only one that can end it, and daily you extend it because you don't understand the delusions and imaginations that you have allowed to drive you deeper into the experience rather than bring you out. Because it's truth that sets you free. It's truth that brings you out. It's the realization of truth applied for you. It's the partnership with truth, the application of truth. See, when one knows truth, one applies it. When one believes something to be true, they promote it and they look for others to partner with them on it. But when one knows something, even if no one partners with them on it, they move on it, even if they have to move on it alone. You better distract them. If you're scheming, you better keep them distracted. Because if people identify you as a schemer, they'll promote you as a schemer. And you know you don't want to be seen as a schemer, which is why you're so secretive about your schemes. Which is why you work so hard on the purpose to give such a good presentation when you're around people that you have identified to be a necessity to your pursuit of happiness and success. But the people that you don't believe can help you, you allow for them to see the ugliness that you harbor. You allow for them to see the chaos that you live with. They see your up and downs. They see you dip into silence. They see you walk by and don't speak. They see you being addressed and don't engage back. Because you don't care to keep your presentation alive with them. You only care to give the effort of pretending for the people that you have identified as those who can extend to you what you believe to be necessary for you to have the life that you've imagined. It's the pursuit of the life that you've imagined that is killing you. You have imagined a life that will save you, and then you imagine the path to the life that you imagined would save you. And the pursuit of those voices is leading you to destruction over and over again. Not gradually towards destruction. Daily you've been destructing. And by grace, you've been being repaired and given new life to learn a lesson that you have been absent-minded towards. And when you fumble again, you have not had the universal God step into your picture and tell you, hey, look, man, you done had too many chances. You done had too much time. Your time is up. I'm taking you down to the lake of fire where you and Satan, y'all can bond, and whatever he want to do with you, however he want to torture you, it's going to be some gnashing of teeth. It's going to be some fire. That's all I can tell you. Anything else is not on me. You no longer are mine. Sound crazy. It make a good movie, but it make a terrible God. Terrible source. But it's because we operate in these ways that we believe that God operates in these ways. Our creator, our sustainer, our author, our all. We believe that we have been told very nice things from a really, really vindictive, petty God. And we'll never admit that, honestly. We'll never not directly say that to people, that we are under the impression that God is petty. But if someone presents themselves to me as a representative of God, And I partner with the things that they are saying, and I believe in their presentation, and they develop, along with an attachment to this relationship in the exchanging of intellectual knowledge that we are claiming is being given to us as revelations from the divine entity where we both began. And I'm allowed to operate in that for my entire life, and I die and I stand in front of the judge who was the one who could have told me that what I was doing the entire time was wrong, and I am cast down into a lake of fire because I did not know that what I was doing was not the right thing. And I could have been told, but I was not told directly, and I didn't pick it up indirectly in the passages that were left behind, that were rewritten and argued over by many, many men in the past before I ever touched them. Then that is a petty God. That is a malicious, vindictive God. You connected yourself to people who you thought were divinely connected to a source that flowed through you and in you the entire time, but you were absent of the awareness to that. So when you found yourself at the day of judgment, you were told, get out of my face, I never knew you. I know you thought you were serving me. I know you had the greatest of intentions. I know I could have told you at the time that you were being misled, that you weren't doing anything but developing idols and attachments and following people who were extending to you their theories and philosophies that they developed in the inner darkness. I know I could have told you that as you reach back into the ancient texts, you didn't go back far enough. You didn't go back into the origin of divine light. You went back into the ancient text where the darkness was still present. There were fewer distractions, yes. There was more intuition, yes. There was a higher connection and a level of awareness collectively of what was going on in the spirit realm, yes. But there was still a ton of confusion. There was still a ton of illusions. There was still a ton of opinions being tossed around and given as herbal legends that developed into ancient writings that are now being leaned on as the basic instructions to be followed before leaving Earth. You got to stop that. In the book that you follow, it said that there's a way that seems right to a man that leads to destruction. Now, if the book was written for believers, to believers, then the way that seems right to a man probably isn't wickedness and hatred. Probably the form and shadow of love, the extension of kindness in form, but really it being nothing but another expression of selfishness as I try desperately to get what I desire out of life, even if I have to sacrifice you. And y'all love to talk about celebrities sacrificing their family members. You sacrifice the people that you say you love all the time in the pursuit of your own happiness and imaginary satisfaction. You will burn everybody and everything at the stake for the opportunity to have what nobody around you has, not even to enjoy it, just to say that you're something that they are not. And that's an indication of brokenness. That's an indication that there is still ignorance of the divine identity that was extended to you that can never be revoked, but is often ignored and forgotten. Learn who you are so you can stop misrepresenting yourself. Speak only the truth so that every time you open your mouth, edification is the result. A lie has never enriched anything. A lie only extends the period or the calm before the storm. The lie only intensifies the storm when it comes, as it gives more ammunition for the anger that provokes the war itself. Come on now. Lock in.